Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only BodkinShow. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I am that dude, Bodkins, of course. Welcome to our Thursday morning weekly wrap-up show. Lots to get into. If you missed it, please check out Bodkins and Foon on Monday. We got a lot of things coming this week as well here on the channel and the Let's Talk Sports channel. Tonight, I will be joined by Craig and my guy, Johnny Cruz. We will be breaking down the playoffs. We'll talk about the firings and coaches, all that good NFL stuff. Might talk a little NBA and a couple other news and notes, just depends. But for the most part, it's going to be talking NFL, coach firings, what each team should do, what teams should look like. So tune in tonight. That'll happen about 8:30 Central Time Zone tonight. So please join us. And then Sunday, we'll be back on air. The NFL season, regular season's over, so no need to do the reaction show. But we're going to be going back to the old style interview. Got a couple of guys from Houston. The Just fans will be just joining me. Carlos it will be joining me. And we talk a little Texans, little Astros, little Rockets, life and everything in general. So that'll be happening Sunday night about 8:30 Central. So again, full slate ahead, full slate of things to come. Also, we'll be doing a little bit of different shows on Sunday, the Sunday morning football show, and a couple other things coming your way this week here on Let's Talk Sports and the Bodkin Show. If you missed my take on the Packers, please check out the Sunday night show with Rob Logan and Johnny Cruz on Let's Talk Sports. Was on there for about 20 minutes, just talking about my Packers and how I had got my hopes up, and I don't want to rehash it. I'm finally over it. We'll see what happens. Allegedly, Aaron Rodgers is meeting with the Packers for the next. Yesterday it was a Tuesday and Wednesday, so we'll see if he's going to come back, take some time. Is he going to retire? I think he's going to retire. Who knows? We'll see. A little different feel. Might be the Jordan Love era. But we'll see what happens with the Packers next year and in the offseason. We'll cover it all right here, all the offseason moves. Let's get into some college football stuff. I mean, if you watched Monday's game, and I say what game because it wasn't a game. I mean, it was just an absolute beatdown of all beatdowns. 65-7, Georgia rolls. That game was over at halftime. Shoot, it might have been over at the first quarter. 65-7. Stetson Bennett, he had 6 total touchdowns. There was just no TCU just had no answer. I said TCU's a really good college football team. Problem is they're playing against a semi-pro team, and that's exactly what happened on Monday night. That game stunk. And you look at it and it's like, well, Ohio State, could they have done better? Or they played a good game. Could Michigan done better? I don't really know. I think Georgia got their wake-up call when they played Ohio State. And, they just beat them down. Just big boy bully, big brother beat down. But college football season is now over. This is back-to-back for Georgia. That had never happened in the college football playoff scenario. People are Georgia's new Alabama. I don't know, but Georgia's pretty damn good. They're going to be consistently in the top. Remember, we talked about that with Clemson a couple years ago. They had won like 2 out of the last 3 and had made the playoffs, and now look at them. So it just takes a while. But Kirby Smart and them and the Georgia Bulldogs, they got it going. I mean, that class, and eventually, what I think is going to happen, and what has happened to Alabama, and what could happen to Georgia is, eventually kids just don't want to wait the 5 years or 2 years when there's 5-star recruit. And then if you're anything like me, you just want to be like, man, I want to go out and beat those guys. I don't want to be those guys. I want to go out and beat those guys. So I think you could see a lot of kids do that. I think that's how Clemson got so good. They got a group of kids that said they just wanted to go out and beat Alabama. Screw playing for them. We want to beat them. And, well, they did that. Now Georgia is doing that, and I think it could come around. A lot of people are asking if Nick Saban lost the fastball. I don't think so. You can't beat a new Georgia. I mean, they won, 12 championships in like 15 years or something. I don't know what it was. It's some absurd amount. So, I mean, Nick Saban's been doing it for a decade plus. Kirby Smart has not been doing it for a decade plus, but he's got 2 championships, been to another one. So, I mean, we'll see. They got a favorable schedule next year. They don't play Alabama in the regular season again. So we'll see what happens next year. They're going to have to replace Stetson Bennett and a couple of guys, but they replaced 7 of their 11 defensive starters from last year. And they all, so very easily going to do it again this year. Don't really want to talk about the NFL, but I do want to give out my playoff rankings, my power rankings. Man, so let's talk about. I'm gonna go bottom to top. My lowest seed here. I don't even know how many teams there are. What's there? 14 teams. I gotta go Dolphins at the bottom. The reason I got Dolphins at the bottom, simple fact is no quarterback. They're going into the Buffalo, and they're going to get cremated by the Bills. Skylar Thompson is playing quarterback. You got to think, and then Hamlin is out. Damar Hamlin is out of the hospital. If you don't think he's not running that team onto the field, you're sadly mistaken. 2 weeks after almost being, pretty much, being died on the field. And if you don't think he's going to run that team out on Sunday, you're mistaken. He's going to run that team out, and they're just going to go out and it might be a Georgia TCU situation. So I got Dolphins at the bottom. And then I got to put the Ravens just ahead of them. And no Lamar Jackson. So I got the Ravens at that 13. And then I'm going to have, this is where it starts getting interesting. Then I got the Seahawks at 12. Seahawks, they got into the playoffs, but they got a little help thanks to the Lions. But then at 11, now we're getting into, I'm going to put the Giants at 11. Actually, yeah, we'll put the Giants 11, 10, the Bucks. And we'll run back down these after we fill this out here. Number 9 here. I'm going to put the Cowboys at 9. We're getting into the real nitty-gritty here. I'm going to put you could flip-flop a lot of these teams. 8, the Vikings. Well, really, I take that back. I'm going to put the Jags at 8, 7, the Vikings, 6, the Chargers. And then At 5, now we're getting into the real tough teams. At 5, I'm going to say the Bills. 4, I'm going to say the Eagles. 3, I'm going to say the 49ers. 2, I'm going to say the Bengals. And I'll give 1 the Chiefs. So that's the Bodkins playoff power rankings. So, and I'm going to go, we'll go 1. Let's go bottom of the top as we just filled them out. So I got the Dolphins at 14. Again, no Tua. That game's going to be over. DeMar Hamlin's going to lead the Bills onto the playoffs, and it's going to be a TCU Alabama or TCU Georgia situation. I don't trust the Dolphins. They could barely score against the Jets. They should have been in. 13 is the Ravens. Again, no Lamar Jackson, or else they'd be higher. It looks like they're going. Who knows who their quarterback's going to be? We just saw what happened on last Sunday when the Bengals put it to them. 12, I got the Seahawks, who backdoored their way into the playoffs. Kudos to the Lions for beating the Packers, helping the Seahawks out. But the Seahawks almost lost to the Rams, or the Lions would be in. So, and then really these next 4 teams, you could really, kind of swap them out. But 11 is the Giants. The Giants got a good defense, and we'll see what they could beat Minnesota. I'm not if they beat Minnesota, you're not surprised, but if they lose to Minnesota, you're not surprised either, right? Daniel Jones's first playoff game. What's the spread on that game? 3. Yeah, so even Vegas thinks it's a toss up. So I got the 11 on the Giants at 11. The Bucks at 10. They're the only team with a losing record in the playoffs. So really, you should, by record wise. But Tom Brady and the boys, they could beat the Cowboys. But I also think the Cowboys, if the way they played, the Cowboys play like they did Sunday, they won't win at all. But they play like they have at times. They could crush the Buccaneers. So I got the Cowboys at 9. I got the Jags at 8. Again, they've been playing really good football. We saw them. Kind of the Titans hung around in that game, made it a little closer. Trevor Lawrence has got to calm the nerves a little bit, make some accurate throws. He missed some throws, but now in his second playoff game, because really that game last Saturday was a win or go home. So I'll put the Jags at 8, Vikings at 7. We'll see. They only had two wins that wasn't a 1-score game last week in week 1. So we'll see what the Vikings can do against the Giants, but I got them at 7. I don't trust them. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. Number 6, I got the Chargers, and the Chargers got all the talent in the world to make. They could on paper, the Chargers have enough talent to win the whole damn thing. They really do. I don't trust their coach, and can they stay just enough healthy? But on paper, all their offensive weapons, defensive side, they got enough to run the table and win the whole damn thing. Will they? I don't know. We'll find out. You got the Bills at 5. Then I have the Bills at 5. Again, these top 5 teams, either one, I think any one of these 5 teams could win the whole thing. The Bills at 5, again, Josh Allen, the boys are ready. Got a little chip on their shoulder. They have now, got past the DeMar Hamlin situation. That they're going to be hosting, playoff game. They'll host a second round playoff game. There's the 2 seeds, so we'll see. Philly halftime. What is up? What's up, Philly halftime? And that brings us to our fourth team on my power rankings. I got the Eagles. The Eagles number 1 seed in the NFC. We'll see. The Eagles struggled without Jalen Hurts. Looked a lot better when he's in the lineup. Remember, this is his second playoff game starting. And they got the bye this week, so they're not playing this week. But next week, his second playoff game. They're getting a little bit healthier. we'll see what the Eagles can do, see who they're going to play. More importantly, they play the Cowboys. That would be real interesting. And then number 3 is I got the 49ers. I mean, Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, Trey Lance, it don't matter who their quarterback is. That defense is the best defense in this whole playoffs. I don't care what you say. And then the trade for CMC saved their season. And then when you add Brandon Ayuk and you add Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, that team right there, I think is the best team in the NFC. Can their quarterback Brock Purdy, it being a rookie, take them? No rookie's ever won the Super Bowl. I don't even think a rookie's ever made it to the Super Bowl. So there's all that. But can Brock Purdy do it? We'll see. But I got the 49ers at 3. Then I got the Bengals at 2. You guys know me. If you've been watching a long time, I love Joe Burrow. I love that team. And I think that team's pissed off at this whole, like, every situation that happened with the league and everything like that. Them boys is ready to go. That defense is very underrated. They're also getting healthy. So I got the Bengals at 2, and then I got the Chiefs at 1. They've been there, done that, and we'll see. I really hope it's Joe Burrow and Patty Mahomes again, and then Joe Burrow makes the Chiefs, he just sons them. And they got to call Joe Burrow his daddy in the AFC Championship game. That's what I hope. I hope the Bengals win the whole damn thing. You guys know I love Joe Burrow. That's the team I'm rooting for. So, but I got them at 2, and then I got the Chiefs at 1. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes probably going to win the MVP, I feel like. You could slide in maybe Jalen Hurts, but, I mean, Patty Mahomes, 5,000 yards passing, and name a receiver on his team. You know what I mean? Like, that's other than Kelsey. So that is the Bodkins playoff power rankings. Let's get back into some other news. Hey, stop me if you heard this before, folks. Carlos Correa's got a new deal. Except for this time, it's his third team, the team that he was going to leave, it back to the Twins. That's right. So if you've been following this saga as I have, he signs with the Giants on like a 13-year deal. That fails a physical. Then he goes to the Mets, signs another big long-term deal. Fails a physical. Like what? I mean, come on. Now he has shortened that contract to a 6-year deal worth $200 million, but can max out at $270 million over 10 seasons if he can remain on the field and staying in Minnesota. So, third time's the charm for Carlos Correa. Back to Minnesota. I was going to see here. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like that whole situation. The Mets, I mean, if you're the Twins, it is what it is. You get a really good ball player. But you got to feel somewhat slighted, right? He was your third choice. Those other guys were giving him a boatload of money. Clearly couldn't just, take the past the physical. So we'll see what happens there. Dodgers trade for Marlins Rojas to bolster the infield. Rich get richer there. Rojas is a nice little infielder defensively. Other slight news, Dodgers have released Trevor Bauer, former Cy Young Award. Remember, he's been suspended for about 2 years. And that's pretty much it. Let me click on this. Veteran select. Oh, Nelson Cruz signs with the San Diego Padres. Nelson Cruz been around a long time, a 1-year deal. Talked about the Correa. We talked about Rafael Devers last week. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Eric Hosmer to the Cubs a while back, and that was pretty much it. That's pretty much the MLB news. We'll start getting that going. I will probably preview a lot of that stuff, each division when it gets closer on the BodkinShow on that Thursday. It'll be maybe go back to Wednesday night, but right now it's going to be Thursday nights. So there's that. That's pretty much MLB news. Let's get into some NBA news. Kevin Durant out possibly a month, maybe longer with the MCL sprain. Let's see. Oh, Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. If you don't know who he is, he's one of the young and upcoming players who's really underrated. He is hurt. So, I mean, we've seen the last few weeks some injuries pile up here. We are now at the halfway point of the NBA season. And it really, if you look at the standings, and we'll get into the power rankings next week again. But if you look at the standings, man, there's some surprise teams out here. The Knicks if the season ends today, the Knicks are in the playoffs. The Sacramento Kings are in the playoffs. The Sacramento Kings are the 4th seed right now, folks, in the West. So kudos to them. I love this. Look, if you look at the West, I like all this young new blood that's coming. Memphis is 2. Really, they're kind of tied with 1 with Denver. They're a young up-and-coming team. You look at New Orleans, young and up-and-coming team. Sacramento, the 4th seed. They got a bunch of good young stars. Dallas, with Luka. Then you get to the bottom, and it's all the old teams, that the Clippers. The Suns would be the 7th seed, and they're struggling. Golden State, the 8th seed. So, I mean, hey, we're getting some new fresh blood here in the NBA. We'll break down the power rankings next week, but we just want to get those quick injury updates out there for y'all. That is, we got to get some college basketball here real quick. So let's see. I'm just going to scroll through some rankings here. Last night, Alabama beats Arkansas. Number 4, Alabama beats 15 Arkansas. Number 6, UConn upset 76-82 to my number 25, Marquette. Texas, number 10, Texas beats TCU 79-75. TCU ranked number 17 there. Texas fired Chris Beard a couple days ago. Remember, he had been suspended, so now he is now officially fired. Texas rolls on. And speaking of Texas, I saw Kentucky has been struggling here. I don't know what their ranking is, or even if they're ranked anymore. They're out of the top 10. So Kentucky are out of the top 25. So Kentucky is struggling, and we know that Coach Cal will get them boys ready eventually, right? But I saw a sign where Kentucky was booing Coach Calipari, and it said, "Go to Texas." Are you kidding me, Kentucky? I mean, Coach Cal is one of the best coaches of all time. I know there might be some allegations headed, here and there, but hey, all that stuff's legal now. So, but I mean, Coach Calipari could go anywhere, turn a program around. He's going to get 5-star recruits all the time. The problem is the way he recruits, and the way it does take some time. They're never a good regular season team, because guess what? They got 5 new starters every year. So maybe does he change that around? We'll see. But every year they're putting it. Coach Cal says my job is to get you ready for the NBA. He does that. The NBA is littered with guys who played for Coach Cal. And you want to get rid of him? For who? Who's better than Coach Calipari, Kentucky? I'll wait. Coach Krzyzewski's not walking through the door. He's retired. Dean Smith, he might be passed away. He ain't coming. Tom Izzo's not leaving Michigan State to come to Kentucky. Who are you going to go get? The answer is nobody. Nobody. Get out of here to get rid of Coach Cal. I'm going to look through here this past week, see if there's any other huge upsets that happened, and then we'll get to the rankings. Missouri lost last night. Bad. I mean, bad. Missouri's low ranked. I mean, but they still lost to unranked Texas A&M. Missouri's number 20, and they lost by 20 to Texas A&M. So Michigan State upsets Wisconsin 69-65. Michigan State's unranked. I mean, so, you don't see Michigan State fans saying, let's get rid of Tom Izzo. No, they know the process. It's not what you do in January. It's more about late February and March what you do, folks. Kansas State. Anyway, they beat Wisconsin, number 18, Wisconsin. And then Northwestern, this was a huge one too. Northwestern beats Indiana 84-83. Number 15, Indiana falls to unranked Northwestern. Maryland upsets Ohio State. 80-73, Ohio State. This was on Sunday's games. Ohio State was ranked number 24. And then Houston. Let's see. Washington State upsets Arizona, number 5 Arizona on Saturday, 74-61. Kansas State, I mean, they are rolling. Kansas State is hot, folks. Beat Baylor 97-95, number 19, and then they moved into the top 25 as well. Auburn beats Arkansas 72-59. That was on Saturday. I mean, just boat roast them. Let's get into the rankings real quick. So here's your top 10 in the college basketball. Houston's now, remember, last week, like 8 teams were upset. So the rankings got all shifted. But back to number 1 is Houston. Number 2 is Kansas. Number 3 is Purdue. 4 is Alabama. 5, Tennessee. 6, UConn. 7, UCLA. 8, Gonzaga. 9, Arizona. 10, Texas. K-State jumped 15 spots and is now number 11. So that they had the biggest jump of the week. The biggest fall of the week was Duke, who dropped 8 spots and now are number 24. The second biggest jump was Iowa State. They jumped 11 to move to 14. So that kind of covers our college basketball, and that really covers everything. We got some MMA this weekend finally, but this card's not as good. It was supposed to be Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imanov in a middleweight fight, but freaking Kevin Gastelum gets hurt. Now Sean Strickland's moving in. Now we're getting a light heavyweight fight that don't even matter. I mean, they're both middleweights, but they're fighting at the catchweight at light heavyweight. It's not going to mean a whole lot. Raquel Pennington's on this card. Dan Inge is on this card. I hope he wins. He's on a 3-fight skid. So, I mean, it's not all bad. We didn't get – also, there's no Shavkat Rakhmonov and Jeff Neal in that fight. That fight got moved to a pay-per-view. But still would rather see we are 1 week away from UFC 283, so that'll be a fun one. So we're 1 week away from that, the next pay-per-view. So we'll see what happens there. Other than that, that's it, folks. Again, come back and check us out tonight for the BodkinShow. We'll be previewing all the football games. We'll talk about the coaching firings, who should go where, what each team should do. Talk about the Bears getting the number 1 pick, what they should do. We'll ask Craig about that and much more. So this has been another great episode of the BodkinShow. Hope you all have a great rest of the week. It is Thursday. You only got 2 days to get through till the weekend. The weekend, baby. Long weekend. Football all 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night. So, hey, let's watch some football. Let's find out who's getting to the next round to play in the divisional round. And then after that's the championship game. So we're just about less than a month away from the Super Bowl. So super excited to see what happens this weekend. This is really the last weekend where there's full slate of games. After that, then it's just, you'll get 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Can't wait. We'll catch you tonight. Johnny Cruz and Craig will be joining me talking all the playoff spots. We'll see you then. I'm going to hit that outro. Y'all have a good rest of the week.